For centuries, the question of whether death is truly the end has haunted humanity. Many have pondered whether our consciousness continues after death or if we simply cease to exist. Now, a wealth of scientific research and experiments suggests an extraordinary answer. Our consciousness may indeed live on, potentially reborn in new bodies. These studies have uncovered children speaking languages they've never learned, birthmarks that match wounds from supposed past lives, and memories that defy logical explanation. This article delves into the most remarkable experiments and evidence that challenge our conventional understanding of life and death, exploring the profound implications of reincarnation. Reincarnation, the belief that our souls or consciousness can be reborn into new bodies after death, has been a cornerstone of many cultures and religions for thousands of years. This idea is central to several Eastern religions, such as Hinduism and Buddhism, and has fascinated Western thinkers for generations. Despite its ancient roots, reincarnation has also captivated modern scientists who have begun to explore this concept with rigorous scientific methods. Their findings have been nothing short of astonishing, shedding new light on the age-old question of what happens after we die. Dr. Stevenson, a psychiatrist at the University of Virginia, dedicated over 4 decades to studying cases that suggest the possibility of reincarnation. His work is considered a cornerstone in the field of reincarnation research. Stevenson meticulously documented over 3,000 cases of children who seemed to recall past lives. His methodology was both rigorous and unbiased, ensuring that his findings were as credible as possible. One of the most famous cases Stevenson documented involved a young boy in Lebanon. At just 3 years old, the boy began insisting that he was a grown man from another village. He correctly named people from that village and described his previous home in astonishing detail. When taken to the village, the boy led the way to his former house and identified personal objects with remarkable accuracy, 93% to be exact. Such cases are hard to dismiss as they challenge our understanding of memory and consciousness. Stevenson's vast collection of cases revealed intriguing patterns. Children who claimed to remember past lives typically began speaking about these memories between the ages of 2 and 4. Interestingly, these memories often faded as the children grew older, usually disappearing by the age of 7. Many of these children also had birthmarks or birth defects that corresponded to fatal wounds or injuries they claimed to have sustained in their past lives. For example, Stevenson documented a case of a boy in Thailand who had a large birthmark on his chest. The boy claimed to remember being shot in the chest in a previous life. His parents investigated and discovered that a man in a nearby village had been shot in the chest at the exact location of the boy's birthmark shortly before the boy was born. Such cases suggest that there might be more to these birthmarks and memories than mere coincidence, hinting at the possibility that some part of us may indeed carry on after death. Xenoglossy, the mystery of speaking unknown languages. Another phenomenon that has intrigued researchers is xenoglossy, the ability to speak a language that one has never learned. This phenomenon poses a profound challenge to our understanding of memory and consciousness. Dr. Maurice Netherton, a psychotherapist, documented a case where a patient under hypnosis began speaking an archaic form of Chinese, a language that the patient had never been exposed to. In another striking instance, a young German woman named Iris Ferradi suddenly began speaking fluent Spanish, behaving as if she were an elderly Spanish woman named Lucha. Ferradi had never studied Spanish, yet she provided detailed information about early 20th century Madrid that was later verified. These cases raise the question, if we haven't learned these languages in our current lives, where does this knowledge come from? The reincarnation hypothesis offers a tantalizing explanation, suggesting that these languages might have been spoken in past lives. Near-death experiences consciousness beyond the brain. Near-death experiences, or NDEs, offer another intriguing line of evidence for the persistence of consciousness after death. Dr. Pim van Lommel, a Dutch cardiologist, conducted a groundbreaking study on NDEs that was published in the medical journal. Van Lommel followed 344 cardiac arrest patients, 18% of whom reported vivid experiences while they were clinically dead, with their brains showing no activity. These patients described floating above their bodies, accurately recounting details of their resuscitation that they could not have seen or heard while unconscious. Some even reported meeting deceased relatives, including ones they didn't know had died. These experiences were consistent across different cultures and religions and often led to profound, lasting changes in the individuals' lives. Van Lommel's research suggests that consciousness might be non-local, existing beyond our physical bodies. This idea aligns with theories of reincarnation, hinting that our essence could survive bodily death. Past life regression, tapping into historical memories. Past life regression therapy has long been a controversial practice, but when Dr. Helen Wambach applied scientific rigor to this technique, the results were nothing short of stunning. Wambach regressed 138 people to past lives, asking specific questions about daily life in different historical periods. The consistency and accuracy of the subjects' responses were remarkable. For example, the distribution of reported social classes among the subjects matched historical data, and they accurately described clothing, footwear, and food for specific time periods. Even the ratio of male to female lives reported aligned with historical population estimates. While skeptics argue that these memories could be products of imagination, the consistency and historical accuracy across thousands of cases are difficult to explain away. It's as if these individuals were tapping into a collective memory of past eras. Birthmarks and birth defects, traces of past lives. Dr. Jim Tucker, who continues Ian Stevenson's work at the University of Virginia, has documented numerous cases where children's birthmarks or birth defects correspond to fatal wounds or injuries in their claimed past lives. These physical marks offer tangible evidence that challenges our understanding of how traits are passed between generations. In one notable case, a boy in Turkey was born with a malformed ear and underdeveloped facial tissues. He claimed to remember being shot in the face in his past life. The family of the deceased man he described confirmed that he had died from a gunshot wound to the same side of his face. Such cases suggest that more than just genes might be carried forward from one life to the next, offering a compelling argument for the existence of reincarnation. Phobias and fears echoes from previous lives. Why are some people terrified of water despite never having had a traumatic experience related to it? Why do others have an inexplicable fear of heights? Dr. Brian Weiss, a psychiatrist and past life regression therapist, has found that these mysterious phobias might be echoes from previous lives. In his practice, Dr. Weiss has documented numerous cases where patients overcame lifelong phobias after recalling traumatic deaths in past life regressions. For example, one woman with an intense fear of water recalled drowning in a past life. After the regression session, her aquaphobia vanished completely. The specificity of these memories and the rapid lasting changes observed in many patients challenge conventional psychological explanations. It suggests that our deepest fears might have roots that extend beyond our current lifetime. The bond beyond DNA twin studies and reincarnation. Identical twins share the same DNA and environment, yet they can have strikingly different personalities and experiences. Dr. Peter Ramster's study on twins separated at birth offers a fascinating perspective on this puzzle. Ramster found that in many cases, separated twins developed similar traits, habits, and even phobias despite growing up in different environments. In one remarkable case, both twins had an inexplicable fear of masks, a fear that was traced back to a shared past life experience through regression therapy. This research suggests that while genetics and environment play crucial roles in shaping who we are, there might be another factor at play, the influence of past life experiences. It hints at a connection between souls that transcends biological ties, offering further evidence for the possibility of reincarnation. Child prodigies have long puzzled scientists. These extraordinary children display skills and knowledge far beyond their years, often in fields they've had no exposure to. The case of Cameron Macaulay, a young boy from Glasgow, offers a striking example of this phenomenon. From the age of 2, Cameron spoke about his other family on the island of Barra, a place he had never visited. He provided detailed descriptions of the island, the house he lived in, and his past life family. When taken to Barra, Cameron correctly identified features of the island and the house he claimed to have lived in. Cases like Cameron's, where specific verifiable details are provided about places and people unknown to the child, challenge conventional explanations of prodigious abilities. They suggest that some knowledge might be carried over from previous existences. Cellular memory, the memory in our cells. Can memories persist in our bodies at a cellular level even after death? The phenomenon of cellular memory in organ transplant recipients offers a startling possibility. Dr. Paul Pearsall, a neuropsychologist, collected over 140 cases of transplant recipients who experienced personality changes reflecting their donor's characteristics. One of the most striking cases involved an 8-year-old girl who received a heart from a murdered 10-year-old. After the transplant, she began having vivid nightmares about her donor's murder. The details she provided were so specific that they helped police solve the crime. While mainstream medicine attributes personality changes post-transplant to medication or psychological factors, the specificity and volume of cases documented by Pearsall and others suggest there might be more to cellular memory than we currently understand. It raises the possibility that some essence of who we are might be carried in every cell of our bodies, supporting the idea of reincarnation. The demographic detective Dr. Helen Wambach's study. Dr. Helen Wambach's groundbreaking study on past life memories shook the foundations of reincarnation research. Initially skeptical, Dr. Wambach set out to disprove reincarnation, but ended up finding compelling evidence for its existence. In the 1960s and 70s, long before the internet age, Dr. Wambach interviewed thousands of subjects about their past life memories. What she discovered was astonishing. The proportions of people who remembered being upper, middle, or lower class in specific historical periods matched known population demographics for those times. This correlation was far too precise to be mere coincidence. Moreover, subjects recalled incredibly specific details from their past lives, details so obscure that they seemed impossible to fabricate. For instance, many accurately described the number of tines on forks used in different historical periods. In an era before easy access to such information, these precise recollections defied conventional explanation. The Journey to Forgotten Lives, a remarkable documentary. A BBC documentary from 1981 showcased one of the most evidential cases of past life memories ever recorded. 4 Australian women underwent past life regression and recounted lives in Europe. What sets this case apart is the rigorous verification process that followed. The researchers accompanied these women to Europe to corroborate their memories against historical records. While 2 cases proved difficult to verify conclusively, the other 2 provided extraordinary evidence. One woman remembered being a male medical student in Aberdeen around 1820. Researchers not only found records of this person at Aberdeen University, but also in the village where she claimed to have practiced medicine. Although the doctor's surgery no longer existed, houses further down the street matched her description perfectly, but as mirror images, a detail she couldn't have known. An expert on Aberdeen University's architectural history, possessing knowledge unavailable to the public, quizzed her on the bygone layout of the university buildings. Her responses were so accurate that they convinced even this skeptical expert of the authenticity of her memories. The most remarkable case involved a rural Australian woman who recalled a past life near Glastonbury around 1720. She correctly named villages in the area using their historical names rather than modern ones. She even accurately identified the local lord as Mackenzie, an unusual name for that region and era. Under hypnosis, she described and drew markings on stones in her past life home, which she believed were writing but actually turned out to be erosion patterns. When researchers located the house she described, now used as a chicken shed, they found stones with markings strikingly similar to her drawings, hidden under layers of debris. Conclusion: a glimpse beyond the veil. The evidence presented by these studies and cases offers a tantalizing glimpse into the possibility that death may not be the end, but rather a transition to another phase of existence. While skeptics may argue for alternative explanations, the sheer volume and consistency of the evidence collected over decades make it difficult to dismiss. If these findings hold true, they suggest that our consciousness, our very essence, might carry on after death, potentially reborn in new bodies with memories, skills, and even scars from previous lives. This ancient belief in reincarnation, now bolstered by modern scientific inquiry, challenges us to rethink everything we thought we knew about life and death.